We'll go ahead and get started. Thank you everyone who's joining and who's watching on the replay. I'm super excited to have you guys here for my first interview of the Fueled by Faith series, and my first and special guest, Haley Jordan, is here just to talk about her experience choosing the vegan lifestyle for herself and for her family. And so, lost my words. So I'm super excited to have her here because she's very passionate about the vegan lifestyle, and I'm really grateful to Instagram because Instagram is what brought us together and connected us. I think it was about maybe 2 months ago that maybe about a month, 2 months ago that we connected. And so yeah, I'm grateful for this friendship. So I guess we'll get started. Haley, again, thanks for being here. I guess I'll start with really just, and I have to like write everything down or I'll forget questions. So you guys might see me looking over here, but my memory is so bad. So can you tell me something, I guess, that stands out about your childhood and how it relates to your vegan journey?
Well, my childhood, we kind of just ate what was on hand. So money issues and stuff was always up and down with us. So we would just eat things like ramen noodles, anything that was loaded with like dairy and stuff. I've always been slightly lactose intolerant, but never really paid it any mind, like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And what relates to it now is now that I've cut back on a lot of those childhood favorites and stuff, I've noticed a huge difference with my health once I started cutting away from like the family ties of food.
Wow.
That's one thing.
This wasn't like a question that I prepared for you, but what would you say was like, when you think about some of those big changes that you had and that you experienced, what would you say was like the biggest change that you noticed once you decided to go vegan?
Biggest change. Well, me and you have talked. I don't know if everyone. Hi.
Hey, Ebony.
Welcome. I don't know if like everyone knows on here, but so I'll share it again. I have endometriosis, so I get like a lot of sometimes swelling in my joints.
Okay.
And so the biggest thing I've noticed is less swelling.
Wow.
For like everything for me and for my husband.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, earlier when we were chatting and you gave me some advice about like what it looks like when you first go vegan and feeling bloated. I feel like I'm still in that stage because we went vegan like 4 months ago and I still feel like I'm bloating, and farting is like it's not something that's rare in this house for us. I feel like everyone's farting. But did you feel like you experienced something similar when you first decided on the vegan lifestyle? And how long have you been vegan?
We've been vegan now. Last year, I think it was end of January, beginning of February, we went full vegan then. It's been a process though, over about 3 years, I'd say. We slowly started, first it was like cut out pork and red meat, and then we cut out dairy, and we cut out like just a little bit at a time. But it was mainly because I have a lot of picky eaters in my house too.
Yeah.
Like if it was up to me, I could have done it way faster. But since I wanted to bring my family aboard with me, it took a little bit longer.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Total sense. What would you say was your favorite food as a child before you decide? Obviously, you weren't vegan at that moment. So, what was your favorite food as a child?
One of them was scrambled eggs always, and taco salad was our other thing. I know it's two weird things, but those were things that I needed to realize, like really veganize whenever I came on. So you've seen the tofu scramble I do a lot of. And then taco salad is something now with so many vegan options, it's pretty easy to veganize.
Yeah, your tofu scramble looks bomb. I'm like, I wish I could just reach through Instagram and take a bite because honestly, you guys, all of Haley's food that she posts on her Instagram, please go follow her Instagram. It's Romaine Calm Mama. And I'll also share it on my blog and also on YouTube. Everything that she posts just looks so delicious, and it just makes me so hungry all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, it just looks so good. And I love that you have like savory and sweet dishes. I think that's something that's often missed when folks are deciding on a vegan lifestyle. They're usually like just thinking that all we're eating is like salads. So I love that you have like a great twist on the things that you're making, and you decided to veganize a lot of the recipes from your youth. So I guess I know you talked about endometriosis and like conquering that. What would you say is the number one reason, I'm guessing in addition to that reasoning, for going vegan? Like, why did you guys decide that this was the path for you?
4 years ago, I lost my grandmother to breast cancer, and I was one of her caretakers along with like my mom and them. And she talked to me at the very end of like being with her, and she told me that her doctor had even told her to stay away from milk, that the hormones and everything in it is horrible, and that's a huge reason for breast cancer now. And so, at first, I just hung out with my grandma. I didn't really think much of it. And then I started looking into it, and dairy was, it was scary. I use that hashtag a lot. Dairy is scary.
Yeah.
And so that was how I kind of started planting the seeds with my husband to go vegan.
Wow. Wow. Um, I'm so sorry about the loss of your grandmother. I know we talked about that on the side. Like, you guys, Haley and I talk like it feels like every other day, if not every day. So it's
Yeah,
nice.
pretty much.
It's nice because we have very similar stories. I guess so. You talked about the tofu scrambler. I don't know if you have any information on this. Again, another random question, so I'm sorry, but I'm curious. Do you know what, like, I know a lot of people talk about like tofu and soy and how bad it can be for men. Have you done any research at all on that?
And so I'm horrible with like remembering the names for everything. So I will give you like the brief thing to it for me. So I watched Game Changers. That was the best thing I saw about soy. Towards the end of that documentary, they talk about it's not the same soy that we always think of. And if you look at your food products too, almost anything that a meat eater eats as well is loaded with soy if they go and look at the back of their labels. But no, soy is definitely way less problematic for men. Whenever it comes to that, they're not getting all that extra hormones that the cows have. They're not getting all the antibiotics and stuff that we also give our animals. So it's actually better, they say, for men to drink stuff like almond milk and cashew milk and stuff as well.
Yeah. Do you feel like you end up limiting like the amount of tofu that you eat then? Because I know I've heard mixed reviews, right? Like some people say, oh, tofu is great. Other people say, like, I know it's kind of, the community is a little bit mixed. So what works for your family?
No, we eat tofu all the
We
time.
do too.
Again, with the tofu scramble, and we do the tofu fried chicken. We do like, you can saute it up, have teriyaki tofu. Yeah, we do it all different ways. We love it in this house. It's a great substitute.
Well, that makes me happy. We do have some questions. We were going to have like a live Q&A at the end, but since they're coming in, Lucky Little Garden asked, what's your favorite go-to vegan meal to make now?
My favorite go-to, I think spaghetti. That's the best thing for me. You can do like a lentil, like bolognese on top or something. Great for protein, or you can use pretty much anything you want. Go crazy. Use chickpeas. That's going to have a bunch of iron as well. So that's my favorite go-to meal. It's so quick. And you can use the chickpea pasta that we were talking about.
Yes.
That's great for iron and everything. It's so easy, especially for your kids, for them to get that stuff that they need. Just simple meals.
I love that. And that's the one thing, you guys, about Haley. Like, she wants to show how easy deciding on a vegan lifestyle is. And then we have another question. What advice would you give to someone from Out of My Shell? She shared, what advice would you give to someone considering a vegan lifestyle? That's a good one.
The best advice I would give is, oh no, please don't die.
You sound
to move you.
You sound like me, Haley. My phone is like always dying, and people are always like, we're buying you a charger for every holiday. My mom is Out of My Shell, and she's like, God bless you. We're both the same with the charging the phone. It's so funny.
And I was texting you, I was like, I gotta charge my phone real fast. I'm sorry.
Hey B,
But
thanks
yeah,
for
okay.
joining.
So the best tip for the vegan lifestyle, I would say do as much research as
Yep.
possible. See, I'm the one getting tucked right now. Beforehand, give yourself kind of like that oomph to kind of do it. Everyone needs it, whether you're going to do a diet or any kind of lifestyle change, do your research. And definitely just look at the health benefits. Whenever you know that you're benefiting yourself or your family or friends, then I feel like that gives you a boost as well. And then definitely look into Nooch because that is a lifesaver as
Oh my
well.
gosh.
Nooch, nutritional
Okay,
yeast.
you call it nooch. I've never heard, I think I've heard people call it nooch, but it was like before I was a vegan, and I never call it nooch. But oh my gosh, nutritional yeast. I actually had my mom, she's on the live, and she sent me so much nutritional yeast that she wasn't using. That stuff is gold.
It is. It is cheese gold. I love it. And it's so packed with vitamin B as
Oh,
well.
that's
I
good.
I love it. It stays in bottles and bottles in my house.
Okay, cool. What do you usually make with your nooch, your nutritional yeast?
I usually make hidden veggie cheese where you just boil like potato, carrot. I use like the really large carrots, and then I put those in
Hmm.
the food processor with some nooch, some veggie broth and stuff. Kind of play around with the seasonings, and you can make some really good like nacho cheese sauce. Add a little bit of taco seasoning.
Oh my gosh, that sounds delicious. I already ate dinner, but I'm ready to go for round two. Okay, cool. So what's your go-to for
I skipped dinner today.
what's your go-to for breakfast? I know we talked about like tofu scramble. Is that like your go-to that you like love to turn to when it's breakfast time?
That is one of my favorites, but I think my second thing is another way of using tofu, is using silken tofu for smoothies
Hmm.
instead of like spending so much on like protein
Yeah.
powders and stuff because it gets expensive and some of those have so many fillers. So I've found it's just a cheaper and easier way just to use the $2 silken tofu to add a bunch of protein to your
Hmm.
stuff. And flax. Flax is a huge thing with my smoothies. But yeah, super easy. Just make a smoothie in the morning.
Yeah.
I know some people are like, I can't drink my food, so I'll
Yeah.
like add like maybe some like nuts or pretzels or something with it. But yeah, I just keep it simple.
Oh, that's a really good call out too. I actually just tried a recipe. I think it was about like this past weekend. I made like a lemon cake, and that was my first time using silken tofu in the lemon cake. And I was just like, it just seemed weird to me to put tofu into like a baking recipe, but you can't taste it at all. And it tastes literally just like a normal lemon cake. I was just, so I'm going to have to try silken tofu in my next smoothie. So thanks. That's a really good call out. Okay, so for the folks who aren't vegan, Haley, what would you say is like a problem you feel you solve by deciding to go vegan, and how would you say it's like changing the world?
Oh, was that one of the questions? Or did you word it differently?
I think it was like how can, what problem do you feel you solve in the journey to change the world by being vegan?
Um, the only thing so far I've heard from a lot of women actually is weight loss. I feel like that's a thing that a lot of people struggle with is like your weight fluctuating up and down. Whenever I cut dairy was the biggest part. I had lost a lot of weight. And it'll also answer someone else's question I saw, has your energy level increased?
Hmm.
And that's another thing that they've said as well, is their energy is increased. My energy is definitely increased. With having endo, you have just days you're usually exhausted, and I've had way, way fewer days of those.
Wow. Well, that's good. I feel similar. I think my energy has definitely changed. My weight's still fluctuating, but I think it's because I'm eating too much vegan junk food.
Ooh, no, see, whenever I start hitting that vegan pizza, yeah, same here.
Exactly. Okay, so just to wrap up the interview, you guys, thanks for all the great questions. And if you have any others, please feel free to use the question feature. But we're going to close out. Haley, how can people connect with you? And then also, what is your favorite like quote or mantra that gets you through one more day of being vegan? Because I know it is hard, and like when you go out into the world, we don't, at least where I live, we're in Cincinnati, and I know you're in North Carolina, right?
South Carolina, yeah.
Sorry. So you're in South
It was
Carolina.
close. It was close.
I was close. But yeah, I mean, like local to us, I don't feel like we have tons of vegan restaurants where we live. So I guess what's your mantra or quote that helps you go one more day vegan and stay on the path of just choosing this lifestyle? And then how can people connect with you?
Um, well, my quote really is just your body is a temple, not a graveyard. That's one thing that I've loved that quote and stick with it a lot now. I'm like, oh, that sounds really good. That's just dead bodies. Never mind.
I love that though.
Best
Your body is a temple, not a graveyard.
best way to connect with me would definitely be here through Instagram. I am a mom of two, so if I do not reply back like the exact same day, I promise I'm not ignoring you. Just give me just a minute, or comment. Sometimes I'll have a couple comments slip, but I try to catch as many as possible. So just here on Instagram is the best way. I do have Remain Calm Mama on Facebook, um, and we do have Pinterest as well that you can find us on now.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you again, Haley, for joining. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to drop them now. But we're going to go ahead and close out. Again, please follow Haley. Her Instagram account is filled with yummy food, and she makes it so easy to think about choosing a vegan lifestyle because everything that she makes me want to hang out in the kitchen 10 times longer just to figure out how to do what she does. And you've just been such an inspiration, Haley. I'm so happy to have you as one of my first guests on Fueled by Faith in this series. And truly, like, you're such an inspiration. And every time we connect, I learn something new. So keep doing what you're doing because you're making an impact. Thank you, Ebony. You're awesome. And I appreciate you guys. Does anyone have any other questions? Feel free to drop them now or comment now. I'll give you 2 seconds. That went by so quick. That was so good.
That did. It zoomed. I kept forgetting that we're on live. I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta look at comments, and I can hear my husband out there, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's home and everything. Yeah.
It went by so quick, but so much great information. So if you guys want to connect with Haley, again, Romaine Calm Mama, I will be tagging her and posting this live to my Instagram, my Instagram, my blog, www.thetaylorisms.org, and then also on my YouTube channel, The Taylorisms. So again, thanks, Haley, and continue to stay on your vegan journey. I love that. Your body is a temple. It's not a graveyard. I'm going to be writing that down here in my office. So thank you.
We're going to see it everywhere whenever you post pictures. Like, look at it now.
I love it. So out of my shell, I know you asked for tips for children. I will try and get that back from Haley offline. Haley, if you want to send me some tips that you have for children, I'll make sure I share that in the blog post. Kids meals, she said. So just something to think.
Yeah, sure thing. I'll also post some tips as well in my stories tomorrow. I'll try to look at these comments and try to answer some of these in the stories tomorrow as well. Anything we missed.
Thank you. Okay, thanks everybody. Go choose a happy, healthy lifestyle. Have a great night. Thanks, Haley.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.